Yo, counterpunching like Canelo Álvarez is all about making your opponent miss and making them pay. Today we're gonna break down 3 drills that's gonna help you sharpen your head movement and timing just like Canelo. These drills train you to stay in high guard, to bait your opponent, make them miss, explode, and then make them pay. Let's dive into the 3 key drills we're gonna be training today. First is the slip right and throw right. Next is the slip left and throw left. Now for the pull counter, we can throw back with either hand. So get ready to elevate your counterpunching game. By practicing the slip and pull counters, we're gonna develop reflexes that are gonna help you with your confidence, standing in the pocket, able to defend and fire back. If you wanna box like Canelo, it's not just about power. It's about how he pressures, uses his jab to help him set up his counter punches. So if you don't wanna waste a bunch of time trying to figure this out on your own, I put together 3 drills and a full workout to help you develop his style. You can get it all inside of my free school community. So click the link in the description and start training today. Counterpunching is so important because you're not always gonna be the first one punching in a fight, whether you're in the boxing ring or outside in more of a self-defense situation. So we have to be capable at first defending responsibility and then firing back at our opponent. Now, the reason we counterpunch is if we just keep slipping and pulling and defending without throwing anything back, our opponent's not gonna fear us. They're not gonna have that respect for us, okay? So we need to also make them scared of us. We need to fire back at them so they have to respect and watch out for our shots, okay? I don't know if you guys have been there before when you know a guy isn't throwing back at you. You get really comfortable. You start getting a little loose because you know nothing's coming back, okay? So every once in a while, we need to pull out some counters. And this is really useful too if you're ever in a bad spot. Say you're against the ropes or you're cornered, right? We need to be able to make them miss and make them pay. Drill number 1 is the slip right and counter right, okay? So to do this like Canelo, we're gonna set this up in the high guard, just like that. I'm gonna have my knees bent a little bit more. Now, Canelo likes to fight with his weight a little bit more to the front foot, so that's what we're gonna do. So from the side angle, my head is over that knee a little bit more. My stance is a little bit wider. That way I can move forward and be a little bit more aggressive and add some pressure eventually. Now let's cover how to slip right. So I'm in my high guard, just like Canelo. I'm gonna slip over to my right leg, moving my head down the middle. So if I didn't have my guard up like that, all I'm doing is bending at the waist and also bending at the leg, okay? So if I slip right, I bend that right knee at the same time, and that's really gonna help you absorb your body weight and also load for the counter punch coming back, okay? So to set this up a little bit more with the feet, I wanna be up a little bit on that back toe, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, doesn't really matter, but just think back leg, rear leg, okay? I'm in the high guard, my eyes are up. This is really good if our opponent throws a jab from a little bit of a longer range or also across. Mainly the straight punches are gonna be used on these slips side to side, okay? So we are gonna slip down just like that. That's what our legs should be doing. Now, you can see if the punch was there, my head is outside of the line. Now, how much should we slip, okay? So I always say we wanna slip as big as we need to miss their punch, okay? We don't wanna just slip like a millimeter or an inch. We don't wanna think about a certain measurement. We wanna slip as big as we need to make that punch miss. A lot of times too, in the beginning, new fighters aren't that accurate either, right? They're not always throwing that jab down the middle. They might throw it over here, over there, right? It might be an ugly punch where you think it's coming straight and then it kind of loops around the side. So you guys have to watch out for that. You have to see where they're punching. Are they trying to punch our chin? Are they trying to punch our nose? Or are they trying to punch our forehead, okay? So now that we got the feet doing what they should with that slip right, okay? So we're here, we're gonna drop like that. I'm up on that back toe, I'm loaded. You can see my calf is flexed now for me to come back, but we gotta cover what to do with the hands. Should we keep them up in the high guard the whole time as we come back? Now, the answer is not black and white. Just like everything in boxing, it has a lot of gray area in it. So, it is of course 100% safer if I keep my high guard up and I slip to the right as I'm coming back with the right hand. The only problem with that, it's gonna make us a little bit slower, more robotic. Plus, my hands are out here, which extends my head, right? It makes my head a little bit of a bigger target, right? I have to slip really big if I keep these hands up, right? So what you'll notice Canelo will do, and I'll try to put some video of him doing it, is he'll start in the high guard, and as he slips, he'll drop the hands slightly, moving them, okay? Now this is super important because if the hands get hit, that's gonna disrupt our whole counter and really throw us off, where I'm gonna get hit and I'm not gonna be able to counter. I'm gonna have to reset and get back into position, okay? Drill number 2 is a slip left and counter left. So same thing, we're starting in that high guard. Now let's get a bit more detailed on the high guard. I'm making a fist and I'm on the corners of my eyebrows just like that, okay? I don't want to be too straight like that where a jab could hit me down the middle. I don't want to be too closed up down the middle where a hook can come around, okay? I'm somewhere in between. That way I can adjust and read the shots. Now, our chin doesn't have to be super tucked, right? Because I have my guard up like that. If I tuck my chin all the way down and hunch my shoulders, I can't see anything. Now, seeing is believing when we're counterpunching. I have to see the punch coming so I could have a better chance at making the miss and then hitting them back, okay? So our chin doesn't need to be up or doesn't need to be down too much because we have our guard up. That's our shield, okay? Now from here, the slip left is a little trickier of a movement because it's not just like a hinge at the waist and a bend at the knee. What we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate our back hip and hinge over at the same time because I want my head somewhat in line with my right knee, just like that. So I'm moving my right knee and shoulder and I'm rotating it, getting my head off the line. Again, we picture a line coming, which is my opponent's straight punch coming down the middle, and I need to be able to slip outside of that line. Now from here, we're really loading the lead leg, the left leg, and I can come back with a left jab, which I call a spear jab, meaning if I throw it with my thumb up, it's like a spear. I could come back with an uppercut to the head. I could come back with a hook to the head. And like Canelo is famous for, that famous liver shot, just like that. I'm gonna have a lot of options. This one is great because your lead hand is closer to your opponent, so it gives you different options down the middle, to the body, and to the head. Another key point when we're slipping and countering left, if I don't slip big enough and I'm noticing I'm getting hit a lot, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start bringing that rear hand up a little bit, almost like as a catch and as a block, or I'm just gonna leave it up if we're staying in the high guard, just like that. That way, just drilling this and sparring and with a partner, I'm not getting hit in the face still, right? I'm gonna have a bit of more defense here, and it's gonna give you a little bit more room for mistakes, but we're still slipping and countering back, okay? So even if that punch hits our guard, I still want you guys to fire back. We're sort of building those buttons, right? As soon as we get touched or we make the miss, we're coming back immediately. And that's another important reason why we breathe, right? So if the breathing is, we know we're on beat. We got good timing. If the breathing is slow, right? It's gonna sound a bit laggy. I don't need to see you guys to know that we're not gonna have good timing and rhythm, and we're certainly not gonna be fast. Another important point in slipping left is I really wanna load those legs. You can see that I'm loaded with my legs and my head movement to unload. If I just use the upper body just like that, my legs aren't loading, my head's really not moving outside of that line, I'm not low and athletic, my counter punch isn't gonna be worth a damn, it's gonna be useless. I'm not gonna make my opponent scared of me. So when you do that, make sure you load that lead leg and load that punch that you're throwing back. Drill number 3 is the pull counter. Now, this is one of the slickest counters that Canelo has in his bag. I think he learned it from Floyd Mayweather for sure. Floyd's the king of the pull counter. Check out my other video coming soon on the pull counter with Floyd. It's probably one of the best ones I've ever made. With this one, same thing, right? We are starting in that Canelo high guard. From here, we are going to pull back and lean on that back leg. I'll show you guys from the side angle. So I'm giving them a big target with my gloves, leaning forward. They want to punch and jab. I'm gonna bend the back leg a little bit and hinge at the waist, moving my head back. Basically, I'm leaning back, okay? If you ever play fighting with your friend, an easy thing to do is just pull back, okay? So I'm here, I'm baiting them in with that high guard. When they throw, I'm gonna pull just like that. Now, a couple details. I wanna be up a bit on that back toe, so my heel is not on the ground. That's gonna help me absorb my weight. You can see my calf flex there. That's gonna help load us for the counter punch on this one. Now we can get a little tricky with this pull counter. I have options here. I can pull just at the waist without stepping, or I can add that step to add a little bit more speed and a little bit more power when I'm coming back. Now, key points with the pull counter, this one is really fun because when I pull and counter, I could throw my jab, my lead hand, my left hand. I could pull and throw my right hand. Canelo really likes to throw that long uppercut either to the head or to the body off of the pull. So he'll show the high guard, maybe even let him touch it a bit, tap it a bit, and then he'll pull it away like he's like moving a chair before you sit down, right? And you're gonna fall on the ground, right? He's really great at this, and he's explosive, and he's really gonna make you pay for taking a shot at him. One of the key points with the pull counter is I wanna use my momentum, right? I'm here, I'm a little bit front foot heavy. I'm gonna pull back, lean back, get my momentum back, and then I'm gonna get my momentum going back in, like we're rocking back and forth, okay? That's gonna make my hands and my punches a little bit heavier, okay? So I really wanna go back to go in, getting that momentum and just using that natural body mechanics to get the most out of my counter. Another key point when we're using the pull counter is we don't wanna be too close to our opponent. That way, if I end up pulling, maybe I'm just at the end of their punch where I'm still gonna get hit, okay? Sometimes we can use it on the inside, but we have to be really sure of what's going on. Canelo will use it if their opponent's throwing an uppercut, right? Because they're going right to where his chin is, he pulls back, okay? And on this one, it is really important that we do drop the hands slightly, but I don't want them coming lower than your chest, okay? Yes, it is safer to keep the hands up where I don't drop them at all. But if my hands get hit, again, I'm gonna get disrupted, okay? I'm gonna be a little slower with my hands up. Another good reason you guys could see, if I pull counter with my hands staying up, my opponent can see my counter punch coming back the whole time, and it might not surprise them, okay? But with everything in boxing, it's not black and white. There's always pros and cons, okay? Every action has a equal reaction, okay? Another key point when we're pulling is to not pull back too far, okay? Because what happens when we pull back too far is we sort of get stuck on this back leg. Now, there's more advanced ways to exit off a pull if we don't decide to pull counter, but we'll cover those a little bit later. But for now, try not to pull more than you need to, right? You can see that my head's not gonna go past my foot. I'd have to break my body to do that, okay? Another key point is bending that back knee enough to absorb the weight, okay? I don't wanna keep that leg straight. You can see that's gonna put a lot of stress on my body. Plus, my counter is going to be useless from there. Another key point is we want to keep our eyes on our opponent as we pull. Now from there, we got to be able to read them. Maybe I shouldn't punch. Maybe they're throwing a combination and I'm just going to end up jamming my head into their punches. So I got to be able to read it and abort that pull counter, right? I want to see where's the opening from here, right? Maybe I pull back, make my opponent miss. Maybe they have their hands a little bit too high, so I should punch to the body, right? Maybe they're open to the right side of their head, so I should throw that left hook. That's gonna take some practice to read at real time, right? Because this is gonna happen fast, but over time, things will start to slow down and you'll start to read their punches and body language a little bit easier. So in summary, to box like Canelo, you have to train like Canelo. We wanna invite them in with that high guard, read the punch, make them miss with either a slip right and counter right, or a slip left, counter left, or the pull counter where we have a lot more options. So if you want to box like Canelo, you have to train like he does. His counterpunching is all about patience, timing, and precision. I put together 3 drills and a full workout to help you sharpen yours. So hit the link in the description and start training today. I'll see you in the next round.